Right now at 6, a Webb City man with an extensive criminal history is now charged with killing a deputy and his wife in a deadly crash near Springfield.
And we've got a few clouds out there to start our day. We'll have a few more later and some pop-up storm chances. A look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, a Southwest Missouri mayor could be removed from office following allegations of workplace harassment.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. At 6 a.m., I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Thursday, it's July the 3rd, and of course we're following some information out of Lamar this morning.
Yes, breaking a massive fire alerts first responders in Lamar, Missouri. Multiple agencies have been called to the former O'Sullivan building at 1900 Gulf. The massive complex is on fire and the sounds of the roof caving in can be heard.
Now, the 1.5 million square foot building is one of the largest manufacturing facilities in Southwest Missouri. Of course, this is a developing story. Shannon Becker on the scene, and we will continue to bring you more information as it becomes available. So, of course, a significant event taking place up there in Lamar. Folks probably waking up, probably already awake to all of this going on up there. And as we mentioned, we'll keep you updated.
Yeah, it's not something you want to wake up to.
Certainly not. And we, of course, want to make sure all those firefighters, first responders stay safe up there. It's a big fire up in that area.
Yes.
And we've got temperatures increasing just a bit. They're not going to be significantly above normal, but the humidity, dew point levels are increasing, so it's going to make it feel a little outside. But it will feel like July, I guess, in all honesty. Let's start with that quick look outside downtown Pittsburgh. Again, got a few clouds out there this morning. We'll start to see a few more as we go through the morning with those partly cloudy skies. MoDOT camera 20th and range line in Joplin looking fantastic as well. And a quick note, just thought about this because some of you're probably going to be tuned out for a little while as we go into the holiday weekend. A reminder, when you get back to things on Monday, 15th Street, trying to get into Walmart or back toward Hobby Lobby and Shakes and all that, it's going to be closed. You'll have to go in on either 17th Street here or back on Markwart on the backside. So just keep that in mind for your morning commute. All right, moving on to the fog tracker. We still have some fog around the Grand Lake area. Grove, just under 4 miles of visibility. It's, of course, parts of Delaware, Ottawa, and McDonald counties. And we've got some fog building in a little on the eastern portions of Berry County. So remember, low beams, not your high beams. Slow down. Give yourself time to get where you're going. As we head into this afternoon, we are going to have partly cloudy skies, and then we're going to start to have those opportunities for pop-up storms. And a reminder again, with pop-up storms on Future Track, there's not a specific trigger for them. So is there going to be a storm over Joplin at 4 o'clock today? Maybe. Maybe not, but it's just hinting that will be a possibility. Best window for these pop-up storms is going to be between 2 and 6. Could we get a couple ahead of that or a couple after that? Sure, but the best window is between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. 69 in Joplin right now, 66 in Pittsburgh, and temperatures around the area again. Out east, Monette, Cassville, still the cooler spots out there. It's 64. Most of us, though, mid to upper 60s and starting to see some 70s. Chanute, the warmer spot, at 72 this morning. We get to the upper 70s by 9. Partly cloudy by noon, mid 80s, upper 80s, low 90s for our highs. Isolated pop-up storms here and there, and a southwest breeze 5 to 10. Today kicks off a multi-day pop-up storm chance situation, and it also means it's going to be staying muggy. We'll have another full look at your forecast, break down the holiday and the weekend here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. Authorities charge a Webb City man with 2 counts of murder for a crash that killed a sheriff's deputy and his wife south of Springfield. The suspect is 40-year-old Garrett Cleaver of Webb City. He's suspected of being impaired when he smashed into a passenger van near Highlandville, Missouri, Monday night. Authorities say Cleaver was fleeing from a traffic stop when he crossed the center line and hit the other vehicle head-on. The 2 people in the van were Christian County Deputy Sheriff Mike Adams, who was off duty at the time, and his wife, Ashley Adams. They both died at the scene. Their infant granddaughter was also injured. She was released from the hospital yesterday morning. According to the Christian County Sheriff Brad Cole, another deputy spotted Cleaver leaving a known drug house and tried to pull him over. He says Cleaver sped away and the deputy lost sight of him, later driving up on the accident scene. Jasper County has an arrest warrant for Cleaver for missing a court appearance, and he has extensive criminal history in Missouri and Kansas that includes both assault and resisting arrest.
Mr. Cleaver, the suspect, has an extensive criminal history, and it is a what I would consider a violent criminal history. It is 52 pages long. Within that 52 pages, there's numerous felonies, felony convictions, arrests, to include vehicular homicide in Kansas that he was convicted of and spent time in Kansas.
Sheriff Cole says once Cleaver is released from the hospital, he will be transported back to the Christian County Jail. Cleaver is now charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, fleeing a stop resulting in death, and other related crimes. An impeachment hearing is scheduled for the mayor of Carl Junction following a vote by the city's Board of Aldermen Tuesday night. The board voted to suspend Mike Moss as mayor last month, but legal counsel says it was an unlawful suspension. Following allegations of workplace harassment and an investigation, the Board of Aldermen is moving forward with articles of impeachment against Moss. A report of the investigation into the allegations against Moss has been released. According to that report, the investigation found many violations of the city code. Now, 4 articles of impeachment have been brought against Moss. All present Board of Aldermen members at Tuesday night's meeting voted to move forward with holding an impeachment hearing. That hearing is tentatively scheduled for August 4th. We've reached out to Moss for comment and have not yet heard back. You can learn more about the allegations and articles of impeachment on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Fort Scott Community College now has a new president, and yesterday, the school opened up its doors to introduce him. Dr. Jack Welch was born and raised in the Fort Scott area and says he's eager to be back. He comes from Texas A&M Commerce, where he served as a football coach. KOAM's Ty Parks attended the meet and greet and has more on Welch's plans for success.
Fort Scott Community College new president Jack Welch is excited to be back home.
I had a lot of relatives live here. My father-in-law was pastor here. I owned the family farm for many years, and so my relatives live here. It's been a home here, and to be quite frank with you, one of my top mentors was the president of the college here.
Bailey, who was on the selection committee, tells us what set him above the others.
I believe that what put him above the rest of them is that he was from here. So it's less of a stranger coming in and trying to change everything and more of someone coming home.
Welch is looking at the state of the campus right now.
First things that we'll do here is we'll have a sunset review. That's where you look at every program. You see who your champions, the champion programs. You'll see the group that's succeeding well, and you'll also see some ones that are not succeeding quite well. You've got to look at that information, look at your data. Why is it where we are at?
The new president also is addressing the elephant in the room, football.
First of all, I'll say this. I believe in football. I believe in baseball. I believe in softball. I believe in band. I believe in the choir. I understand how all that works for a college. So will we take a look at it? Sure, we're going to take a look at all draw programs, not just one. We're going to take a look at all draw programs and see how that would affect our college.
Dr. John Welch also has a message for the incoming students.
We're going to be okay. Everything's going to work. We're going to win. But we're going to win because we're going to help you. We're going to help our students from the onboarding all the way through, advising. These are the things that hurt colleges right and left. Being friendly to them, helping them, taking them from one step to the other.
At Fort Scott Community College, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
President Welch says he plans to make Fort Scott Community College an elite Kansas institution. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Sean Diddy Combs is still in a New York City jail after a mixed verdict in his high-profile trial. And we have a hot and mostly sunny day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from Wolf Creek Park in Grove, Oklahoma. Topping Nation Watch this morning, Sean Diddy Combs is still in a New York City jail after a whirlwind day in court. A jury convicted Combs on 2 prostitution charges, but he was acquitted on the more serious sex trafficking and racketeering charges that could have put the mogul behind bars for decades. Jared Hill has the details on what's next.
Sean Diddy Combs dropped to his knees, head bowed, after a Manhattan jury found the music mogul not guilty on federal racketeering and sex trafficking charges Wednesday morning. The verdict spared the 55-year-old from a sentence of life in prison, though he was found guilty on 2 counts of transportation for prostitution.
It's a great victory for Sean Combs. It's a great victory for the jury system.
It was a civil lawsuit by former longtime girlfriend Cassie Ventura that sparked the federal investigation nearly 2 years ago. Over the course of 2 months, prosecutors called dozens of witnesses to the stand, including Ventura and another former girlfriend, using the court-approved moniker Jane. The government tried to convince the jury Combs was the leader of a criminal enterprise that forced women into abusive sex acts during drug-fueled parties he called freak-offs. Combs' attorneys argued the freak-offs were consensual and accused the prosecution of putting Combs on trial for his lifestyle.
Sean Combs has not sexually assaulted anybody. I've been saying this for months.
Ventura's attorney.
She was pleased that he's been found guilty and held responsible of 2 federal crimes, something that he's never been held responsible in his entire life.
For now, Combs remains in jail, the judge denying bail until a sentencing hearing, saying Combs' attorneys failed to demonstrate that he poses no danger to any person. His legal team still seeing the day as a victory. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
Sentencing is scheduled for October, but there is another hearing set for next week to decide on that timeline. His lawyers want sentencing moved up. The judge says Combs will receive credit for the 10 months he's already spent behind bars. Still to come, a new study reveals why there's a growing number of non-smokers developing lung cancer. Plus, Chris Warner returns with another look at your Thursday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Veterans in Wisconsin were given the opportunity to fly in an aircraft used to train pilots during World War II. The flights were courtesy of the nonprofit Dream Flights, whose mission is to give back to those who gave so much. Josh Cavender has more.
Paul Baldridge served 2 years in Korea in the U.S. Army from 1951 to 53. He'll be celebrating his 95th birthday this month. On Wednesday, he was given the opportunity to fly in the same type of plane used to train pilots in the Second World War, aptly named the Spirit of Wisconsin.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful, especially open air, open cockpit, everything like that. And this is a wonderful way for me to celebrate my 95th birthday.
7 local veterans were taken up in the restored plane, courtesy of Dream Flight's pilot and founder, Daryl Fisher.
Every day I fly veterans, particularly senior veterans, it's very emotional because when I hear their stories about what they've done for us, it's just profound. It's a pretty special thing. And then to be able to thank them with the flight in the airplane is just a bonus.
Fisher saying the flights resonate with veterans across the country, and often many never want to stop flying.
If they had their way, we'd only fly like 6 veterans a year because we would fly them every time, you know. But it puts a spring in their step. It gives energy.
Baldridge saying the most worrying part of the flight was the stairs, but he quickly overcame that hurdle.
And this is another one to add and say, hey, guess what I did yesterday? So this is real nice, and it's a wonderful thing they're doing for former servicemen.
Dream Flight says the Spirit of Wisconsin may return to the Fox Valley for EAA AirVenture later this month. Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got an absolutely beautiful sunrise again this morning. We have really been blessed with these all week long. We are going to start to heat up a bit, and we do see the return of pop-up storm chances. We'll have the latest when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 6:21 on this Thursday, July the 3rd, and we have got the fog tracker running, starting to see a bit more patchy fog out there, so around Parsons, Independence, Sedan, and then back around Grand Lake, so Grove, parts of Delaware, Ottawa, and McDonald counties, including Anderson, and then eastern Barry County. Got some patchy fog, no significant patchy fog, except around the Grand Lake area. But remember, low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you've got them. I don't know how many times I come in the morning and how many cars I pass with their fog lights on a nice clear morning. They're not for that. They are for the fog, is why they're called fog lights. So now is your time to turn them on if you're driving through the fog. Once we get past that, partly cloudy skies rolling into the afternoon, our humidity and dew point levels are increasing. So our temperatures, our highs are only going to be maybe a couple of degrees above normal. It's the humidity and dew point levels that are going to start putting our heat index values today into the mid-90s, and then very likely the upper 90s, pushing close to 100 over the next several days as our high temperatures rise a bit. We also have the pop-up storms. They, of course, feed off that energy. So if we have that increasing, that's when we start to see those opportunities for isolated pop-up storms out there. So again, remember with Future Track, can't guarantee what you're seeing is exactly what we'll get. It's just simply letting us know that we could get some pop-up storms. Now, the best window today is between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Could we get an isolated storm ahead of that time or after that time? We sure could, but the better window is there. Could get a couple isolated showers tomorrow morning, especially at our far western counties. Outside of that, we head into the afternoon on the 4th, and we go right back to that opportunity for those isolated pop-up storms. Excuse me. Now, Future Track is showing a few more pop-up storms. So there's at least that possibility. A couple of additional folks might get some rain. Again, remember pop-up storms too, most of us stay dry. They should wrap up as we lose the heating of the day. Could we get a couple that maybe last a little longer out there? Absolutely. Future Track is hinting that that's a possibility. So just keep that in mind. If you're doing anything, if you're going to a local event or is whatever may be going on, or if you're holding your own event in your backyard, make sure you got a place to go. And of course, remember, when thunder roars, head indoors. And otherwise, I think most of us should be fine when it comes to those fireworks shows tomorrow night. By Saturday, we're going to have another partly cloudy day and another afternoon of those isolated pop-up showers and thunderstorms out there. So again, just the big thing, especially with it being a holiday weekend too, if you're out in the water, whatever, remember the whole thing. When thunder roars, head indoors, because you don't want to be out there with that lightning. All right, beautiful sunrise again from 7th and Rangeline. This whole week has just been filled with gorgeous views here. We've got a few clouds, like we're seeing now to start our day, low 70s. We'll make the low 80s by 11. We'll start to go partly cloudy skies as we head into the afternoon. Highs today, again, upper 80s, low 90s, so not significantly above average. It's going to be those heat index values, mid-90s today. We'll have clear skies overnight tonight, falling back to about 70, so starting to get a little above normal there. South winds 5 to 10, and the upper 80s, low 90s are the trend for the next several days, as are the pop-up storms. So that means heat index values, mid-upper 90s, maybe close to 100 at times, will also be the trend over the next several days. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over to Samantha now with Health Watch.
Thanks, Chris. Why are a growing number of non-smokers developing lung cancer? A study by UC San Diego shows air pollution and environmental exposure are the main reasons to blame. That pollution can come from vehicles, industrial emissions, or wildfires. The study also found that even some traditional herbal medicines are causing lung cancer in non-smokers. The COVID pandemic disrupted not only millions of lives, but also health care for other types of diseases. According to a study published in the British Medical Journal, mental health disorders, stroke and heart disease, and malaria in young children all shot up during the COVID pandemic. The study shows how treatment for other illnesses can be neglected during a major health crisis such as a pandemic. Women get better at managing their anger as they age. A study published by the Menopause Society found once women reached midlife, fewer and fewer report experiencing anger issues. The results suggest that women are able to better regulate their emotions during and after menopause. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, Baxter Springs breaks ground on a much-needed animal shelter.
And a beautiful start to the day. Another great sunrise out there. However, temperatures increasing a bit. Heat index is increasing. Pop-up storm chances increasing. A look at all that coming up.
Plus, the city of Joplin gets ready to celebrate Independence Day on the campus of Missouri Southern.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:29. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Thursday, July the 3rd. Of course, tomorrow's the 4th. Hopefully everybody's ready. Are you ready?
I am ready. I have the little bit of fireworks I want to do ready to go off and
Excellent.
have fun.
And of course, you want to make sure you have that fun safely.
Yes.
As well. You don't want to, go back to work Monday missing any important body parts
Or
fingers.
missing a house because I burned it down.
You got to be cautious. And be cautious of your neighbor's houses, too.
Yes.
Make sure you're following local regulations and everything like that. It's not to be a buzzkill. You just don't want to burn your town down either on the 4th. And today, I feel like the town might be a little blazing because it's going to start to heat up. Quick look outside downtown Pittsburgh. We've got the few clouds out there right now. We'll start to see clouds gradually increase a bit, heading for partly cloudy skies a little later. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline looking good as well this morning as folks getting their day underway. Many of them, I'm sure this is your last day of the work week, and then you've got a few days off. So like I said, just celebrate responsibly because we want to certainly see you back here Monday morning at 5 a.m. for sure. Taking a look at the fog tracker. So we've got some reduced visibilities. Parsons, Independence, Sedan, down around the Grand Lake area, of course, to Grove to Anderson, Delaware, Ottawa, western McDonald County, and into eastern Barry County. So again, remember, low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you've got them. Now, our high temperatures, and I want to emphasize this part, high temperatures are only going to be 2-4 degrees above average. It's the dew point and the humidity increasing that's going to make it feel a little more uncomfortable. Of course, with those increasing, that does start to give us these little green splotches, which is the Future Track's way of saying some pop-up storms will be possible really anywhere across the area. Best window is between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Could we get a couple ahead of that or after that? Yeah, absolutely. But that's going to be the better window for any of those pop-up storm chances out there. Our heat index values are going to be the issue over the next several days. 69 in Joplin right now, 68 in Pittsburgh, and temperatures across the region. You look at these darker greens, it's just a little cooler. And Cassville right now is the cold spot in a way at 63. And then we go out west, Chanute still the warm spot at 72. In between a mix of upper 70s, as again starting to see some 70-degree readings as well. Again, not bad temperature-wise, only a couple degrees above average. In fact, today, many of us probably pretty close to average. Upper 70s by 9, mid-80s by noon, upper 80s, low 90s for our highs. It's the heat index values again. They'll be in the mid-90s today, or close to the mid-90s today, but our high temperatures will gradually go up a couple more degrees over the next several days, and that'll push those heat index values into the upper 90s, close to 100. So do stay hydrated and do play it safe with the heat. Today, southwest winds also 5 to 10 miles an hour. We'll take another look at your forecast, talk about our pop-up storm chances tomorrow, and just how much hotter it's going to get here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. The city of Baxter Springs breaks ground on a much-needed animal shelter yesterday afternoon. The facility will be called the Ronald O. Thomas Animal Adoption Center. Organizers say that an influx of stray animals since COVID-19 left them with no choice but to rebuild. They also say thanks to 3 local donors, the new building will be completely funded.
There was a definite need. Our current facility only houses about 4 dogs, and this is going to multiply that probably 10 times over. So there are 10 runs for large dogs, 14 runs for puppies, and there will be cat facilities too in the neighborhood of 10 to 20 cats.
Right now, there is no set date when the facility will be complete. The city of Chanute announces a proud moment on social media yesterday. For the first time in the history of the Chanute Police Department, an all-female shift took to the streets to serve and protect the community. The department says these officers are paving the way for future generations by showing them there is no limit to what young women can accomplish. The proud officers from left to right are Supervisor Ornelius, Officer Cavender, and Canine Handler Goodwin. A proud city thanks you for your service. An annual tradition blasted off last night at Crawford State Park. Visitors came to the annual Lake Blast for some family fun ahead of the holiday. The party started yesterday evening with food, face painting, and live music. The Bourbon County Revival Band. Every year, the Friends of Crawford State Park hosts the pre-4th of July party, sorry. They say volunteers make all the difference when setting up an event this size.
You know, we have so many great volunteers with our friends group. They make it easy. It's just a lot of phone calls and picking up supplies at various stores and making sure they're all here the day of that we need it. But everybody pitches in, it makes it easy.
As you would expect, the night ended with a fireworks show. If you're looking for a safe and fun way to celebrate the nation's independence this year, the City of Joplin has you covered. Missouri Southern will partner with Joplin Parks and Recreation this Friday for a celebration at MSSU's Hughes Stadium. Organizers say there will be lots of live music, food trucks, and of course, fireworks.
Parks and Recreation has hosted the 4th of July celebration for a number of years, and the community just always enjoys it. It's been a great time. I've been out there and people are celebrating, they're doing it safely, and you know, surprisingly, parking is very easy and getting out is very easy. It's well-controlled crowd environment.
The event kicks off at 5:30 p.m. Organizers say personal fireworks, pets, and alcohol are prohibited. If your 4th of July plans have you staying in the area, but you're looking for something to do, don't worry, we've got you covered. Scan this QR code and head over to KOAMnewsnow.com to check out a list of Independence Day events right here in our area. You can find great food, great live music, great family fun, and plenty of fireworks shows. Yesterday morning, the Great American Flag Swap made a stop in Joplin ahead of the 4th of July holiday. The event held at Arvis Bank on 32nd Street gave folks the opportunity to trade in their old tattered flags for a new one.
Today is about respect and dignity, and it's a unifying event for our community.
All flags receive proper retiring. The next flag swap will be on November 6th at Arvis Bank in Pittsburgh. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Microsoft has announced that it's set to start another round of layoffs, slashing another 4% of its workforce. Plus, some major retailers are going head-to-head with Amazon with some amazing deals. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from Wolf Creek Park in Grove, Oklahoma. In Consumer Watch this morning, if you're in the market to buy a home, you may have noticed many conventional loans require a 20% down payment, but there are other options that allow you to put down as little as 3.5%. Jen Sullivan looks at these other options that can help make home buying more affordable.
Home sale prices have skyrocketed in recent years. According to the National Association of Realtors, the median price of existing home sales in May was more than $422,000. And if you're buying a home at that price and putting down 20%, that means you need more than $84,000 in cash. And it means buyers won't have to pay for private mortgage insurance.
It's completely out of reach for many Americans to think about putting 20% down for a mortgage.
Well, 20% has long been the magic number for down payments. Jessica Loutz with the National Association of Realtors says that's changed over the last 5 years, and more first-time buyers are putting down around 9%. Here's how. Federal Housing Administration loans, known as an FHA, is a government-backed loan for qualifying buyers. Your down payment can be as low as 3.5%.
There is a credit score requirement, but it is in the 500s.
There are some downsides to that. Your offer could be less competitive, and it means your debt and monthly payment will be higher because you're putting down less money.
The expectation is that home prices will continue to increase, so that debt to income ratio is actually going to work out in your favor over time.
If you're a veteran or active military member, consider a VA loan. Lout says in some cases, you don't need to put any cash down.
Also, looking at state and local programs, the down payment resource is a great place to go to see what you may qualify for on a local level.
Loutz also recommends shopping around to get the best mortgage interest rate, and make sure you're still budgeting for closing costs that can add up quickly. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Kraft Heinz Food Company is recalling more than 360,000 pounds of Oscar Mayer turkey bacon due to possible listeria contamination. According to the Department of Agriculture, the bacteria was found during laboratory tests. So far, there have been no reports of illness. Anyone who has the recalled turkey bacon should throw it away or return to the place of purchase for a refund. Microsoft is slashing another 4% of its workforce, with job cuts impacting around 9,000 employees. It comes as new labor data shows that layoffs in the U.S. this year have hit their highest level since the COVID-19 pandemic. According to outplacement firm Challenger, Gray Christmas companies have announced more than 744,000 jobs cut in the first half of 2025. Sectors hit hardest include the federal government, retail, media, tech, and nonprofits. And Dick's Sporting Goods is the latest retailer to announce a rival sale to take on Amazon's Prime Day next week. The yearly Amazon sales event is set for July 8th through the 11th. Dick's is getting a head start with its sale running July 7th through the 10th. Walmart and Target have also announced rival sales next week. Need a vacation after your vacation? Whether it's a week away or just a long weekend, do you find yourself feeling more drained than recharged once you return home? Michael Yoshida has tips on how to feel more rejuvenated during and after your summer escapes.
Craving a post-vacation vacation? You might not be alone.
We're tired because we continue our work life and that work lifestyle on vacation.
Instead of relaxing, it can be tempting to overschedule, to try and see all of the tourist sites or do all of the resort's activities and more.
We just continue working. It's just a different kind of work. I have to see this cathedral. I have to, walk down this road, eat at this restaurant. And next thing you know, you're not resting, you're still working.
Jordan Barber, a doctor of acupuncture and oriental medicine, says learn to embrace unstructured relaxation. Have a to-do list, but also be okay just going with the flow and listening to your body. Other things to do to keep your stress in check. 1. Keep your hormones in balance with consistent meal and sleep timing. 2. Get early morning sun exposure to naturally boost your energy and reset your circadian rhythm. 3. Hydrate. You might be vacationing in a warmer climate or are eating more processed sodium-filled foods than you're used to. And finally, when it comes to meals, enjoy your vacation, but also try to eat more magnesium and potassium-rich foods, dark leafy greens, avocados, bananas, pumpkin seeds, and more to calm your nervous system.
It's okay to eat, at the restaurant that you want to eat at that might be a little processed or anything else, and to drink a little more, but make sure that hydration is up. But make sure that you're getting your magnesium, potassium-rich foods.
In Washington, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
That's it for Consumer Watch this morning. Here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got, again, a beautiful sunrise out there this morning. We'll have a few extra clouds by mid-morning and then pop-up storm chances. Got a full look at your forecast and, of course, birthdays and anniversaries right after this. Time now for some Thursday birthdays in the 4 states, and we are going to start with Joey Gard in St. Paul, celebrating birthday number 2 with love from Grandma and Grandpa.
Another really exciting birthday, Wyatt is turning 8 in Carl Junction. Happy birthday, Wyatt.
And Jace Perkins, celebrating birthday number 13, says happy birthday, Aunt Casey loves you.
And Andy Carr in Moran, Kansas is turning big number 16. Happy 16th birthday to you, Andy.
And we have Jacob Tatum celebrating birthday number 17 in Joplin with happy birthday wishes coming from your family.
And Ben Hutto in Crestline, Kansas is turning 35. Happy birthday, Ben.
And we have Belinda Adams in New Albany, Kansas, celebrating birthday number 73. A very happy birthday to you, Belinda.
And Tommy Martin Boteroff is turning 78 in Crestline, Kansas. Happy birthday from the CCRHS class of 65. Happy birthday, Tommy.
And our list continues with Wallace Ball celebrating another year wiser over in Carterville. Happy birthday.
And Pete Wiles in Columbus, Kansas is also celebrating his birthday. Happy birthday, Pete.
All right, another great list of birthdays and anniversaries, more so really birthdays this go around. And of course, if you would like to celebrate with us, Samantha has some information you need to know.
Yeah, we always want to celebrate those special days, whether it's your birthday or anniversary. So make sure to get those submitted to us at birthdays@komnewsnow.com. You can see that email there on your screen, and make sure to pay attention to that deadline to make sure that we're able to have it on time to celebrate that special day.
Very important information there, and some, again, important weather information for you today. Fog tracker is up and running once again, as we do have some fog across the area. Again, mainly into the Grand Lake area, so parts of Delaware, Ottawa, McDonald County, eastern Barry County, and we do have some slightly reduced visibilities around the Parsons area, so just keep that in mind as you're traveling. And again, of course, low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you've got them. Heading into this afternoon, we're going to start to see those pop-up storm chances. Pop-up storms, though, feed off of heating of the day, a little bit of instability that builds in, and in order to get that, you got to have your humidity and dew point levels start to increase. So it's going to start to feel a little bit on the muggy side. In all honesty, though, it's going to start to feel a little more like July in the 4 states. So the good news is our high temperatures not that far above average over the next several days. In fact, relatively close. But you factor in the humidity, you factor in the dew point. Today, for example, we're looking at heat index values right up to about 95 or so for most of us. Those pop-up storms, they will be random. So like I've said on Future Track before, it's just simply telling us pop-up storms are going to be possible anywhere. Are they going to be in these exact locations at those exact times? Probably not. But we will have those pop-up storm chances. Now, the best window, again, between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. today. Could we get a couple ahead of that or a couple after that? Absolutely. But the better window, just based on data, is going to be in that time frame. We go into Friday. Could get a couple of stray showers in our far western counties. Otherwise, we'll have another round of those pop-up storms as we head into the 4th for the afternoon. So depending on what you've got planned, where you are, where you're going, whatever the case may be, you want to make sure you're keeping an eye to the sky, that you've got a dry, safe place to go. And you remember, of course, when thunder roars, head indoors. The pop-up storms, they don't last very long, but they still bring the thunder. They still bring the lightning. The lightning is dangerous, and so you don't want to be outside when one of these flares up. Future Track is hinting that we might get a few more of these little pop-up storms tomorrow than what we see today. So definitely want to be paying attention to the weather and to the sky and to any potential thunder as we head through the day Friday. Now, again, most of these storms die out once we lose the heating of the day. However, one or two sticking around a little later is not out of the question. So if you're heading out for any fireworks shows, and of course for any communities or organizations putting on fireworks shows tomorrow night, just make sure, again, you're keeping an eye to the sky as well. It's not going to be anything major, but if you get under one of these, it could put a damper on that fireworks show. So just keep that in mind. We dry out again overnight, heading into Saturday, and then by Saturday afternoon, it's another partly cloudy day, and it's another day with those pop-up storms. And the pop-up storms are going to be the trend for the next several days across the area. And of course, the temperatures, like I said, initially here over the next few days at least, they're not going to be soaring well above normal. We know how hot it can get in July, especially around the 4th. Not going to be really doing that today. It's upper 80s, low 90s. Tomorrow, it's upper 80s and a few more low 90s. Average high is about 89 or so. So that's what I'm saying. We're not going to be that far off from average. It's just going to feel a little muggier because of the humidity and dew points increasing, feeding these thunderstorm chances. Now, of course, as we go later, these high temperatures do begin to climb a couple of more degrees. And as they do, they're going to push the heat index values up a little. So initially, today, into tomorrow, maybe even into Saturday, we're looking at heat index values right around the mid-90s. But as we roll into next week, we could start to see those heat index values into the upper 90s, getting close to 100. So again, make sure you're staying hydrated, taking appropriate precautions out there. All right, few clouds like what we're seeing right now. Low 70s to start, low 80s by 11. We'll start to go partly cloudy by mid-morning as well. We're going to have another look at your forecast and, of course, the news you need to know here in just a moment. And when we transition to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., or if you're streaming with us on KOAM Plus, don't do anything. You can just stay right where you are. And we're going to learn about some fireworks safety tips just in time for the big day tomorrow.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Authorities charge 40-year-old Garrett Cleaver, Webb City man, with 2 counts of murder for a crash that killed a sheriff's deputy and his wife south of Springfield. Cleaver is suspected of being impaired when he crashed into a passenger van near Highlandville, Missouri, after being spotted leaving a known drug house Monday night. Cleaver is now charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, fleeing a stop resulting in death, and other related crimes. An impeachment hearing is scheduled for the mayor of Carl Junction, Mike Moss, following a vote by the city's Board of Aldermen Tuesday night. 4 articles of impeachment have been brought against Moss. That hearing is tentatively scheduled for August 4th. If your 4th of July plans have you staying in the area, but you're looking for something to do, don't worry, we've got you covered. Scan this QR code and head over to the KOAMnewsnow.com to check out a list of Independence Day events right here in our area. You can find great food, great live music, great family fun, and plenty of fireworks shows. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as you head out the door, again, some patchy fog this morning. Otherwise, partly cloudy skies, upper 80s, low 90s, heat index values to the mid 90s, and isolated pop-up storms. Best window again between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m., although we could get a couple ahead of that or after that time. Skies will clear out later this evening and overnight back down into the 70s, and we'll continue with isolated pop-up storm chances for the next several days, and temperatures hanging out upper 80s, low 90s, and heat index values mid to upper 90s. So it's definitely going to start to feel like July across the area.
Well, that's right in time for the 4th of July.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Well, coming up today at noon, we're making backyard bean bake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Coming up next, if you're looking to get a head start on your 4th of July getaway, Chris Van Cleve reports if there are any travel trouble spots. Plus, go behind the scenes, see how law enforcement's making your celebration safe.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, Fort Scott Community College welcomes a new president, who's no stranger to the area.
Plus, Dustin Luno from the Joplin Fire Department joining us in the studio to talk about fireworks safety. So you want to make sure you're paying attention to that very closely. It's going to wrap it up for us for now, though. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.